character here is also me, which is interesting. This character is called Vinci, and today I'm going to be talking about attuning to our divine quantum creativity. And why attuning? Why did I use the word attunement? Does anyone want to guess? It's kind of, the answer's in the picture actually, so I may as well make it interactive. Yep.
Tuning fork?
Oh my God, you're so clever. Yeah, so attunement relates to the tuning fork. It was a choice. It was a choice, and I believe creativity is a choice. It's an intention because you want to communicate a message and share it with people. And this message of a tuning fork is attunement. I believe it's about being connected to the universe, and that's why I call this topic Attunement to our divine quantum creativity. Because when you feel connected to the universe and to everybody else, you're able to tap into that creative portal and access that childlike sense of joy. And we're all inherently creative, and the sooner we work that out, the easier it is to tap into that creative ability. And why do I use the word quantum? I'm not a quantum expert, but I find the word super fascinating because it feels like being in touch with something etherical. And the concept of the conscious and the unconscious. Thank you very much, Mac. The conscious, to me, consciousness is like the actuality, whereas the unconsciousness is like the possibilities of tapping into divine potential that's unknown. And the unknown can be scary, right? Because you just don't know what's going to happen and what's the future going to look like. But you have the power to modify your reality. What does that mean, that statement? It's a very powerful statement. It's about thoughts turning into action, and the way we think is a form of creativity because we manifest that outcome in reality. And with that, with these thoughts leading to actions that then shapes our future. But the truth is that we all co-create the future together universally. And how can we co-create the future? Where does this all come from? The imagination, the realm of the unknown. Someone has to think of something, like Billy said, Nikola Tesla, like, where do these thoughts come from? Where do you tap into this state of the unknown and turn it into something tangible that can change the world? It's the imagination, it's our universal right, our inherent right as a human being to tap into. And where are all the dreamers and explorers? I think about this a lot because the way the education system currently is in society is that sometimes with the algorithmic filtration bubbles, that it almost encourages societal numbness because you're sliding through a screen, you're in this bubble of social media, and we lose that state of the connection between the human. And with that, then as we grow older, this sense of tapping into the dreamers and the explorers that we dreamt about as a kid, and this ability to change the world, become an astronaut, sometimes it can get stamped out of the kid. But creativity is so powerful because it's not about age. It's not about age. It's about the innocence of childlike wonder. It's about being a dreamer and an explorer. And that is my why behind creativity. And so this brings me to what I do, Vinci. And this is a symbol of a universe that I'm building. It's super exclusive for you all today. So yeah, it's called Galactic AI. So Vinci's a character in a larger world that I'm building. It's a space opera universe, because why not? And the reason I call it Galactic AI, it's actually really, it weaves in really nicely to what we're talking about today, about AI and the future of humanity. So surely if we're going to be approaching the technological singularity, and then we got this whole Fermi's paradox thing about are we alone? Maybe in the universe out there is other intelligent life forms that might be more advanced than us. And so this was a thought experiment that I was like, I'm curious about it and I'm going to follow my curiosity. And this curiosity started in 2017. And with that, I created an avatar called Vinci. And she was on the first slide that I showed you. She was, ironically, a Super Sentient A.I Superheroine from the future. But why would I create this character? Because I was thinking about the future of humanity and where AI is going. And where does Team Human go by the way, I'm team human. But I consciously made the decision to embrace with love this fictional being that was this awakened, super sentient AI superheroine from the future. And no, this isn't an AI coming up with this narrative or story. This is a human being, a woman that's trying to find her way in the world and understand what it means to love. So it was such an interesting thought experiment and exercise in creativity because it allowed me to tap into the unknown and the quantum divine potential of what creativity is and what it means to embrace the role of another being. And then how does that impact humanity? And then we have this whole concept of the word avatar. It's so interesting because it actually derives from this ancient Sanskrit word avatara, which means descent. I'm sure I see some nodding of heads here. So it's actually about the descent of our consciousness into our human bodies. In fact, arguably, we could all be avatars right now because it's our consciousness and it's a detachment from the physical. So with that, with the Vinci character, I was taking this concept of consciousness and putting it into this digital being. And then we fast forward to today with the age of spatial computing and the metaverse, and we're thinking about who are we going to be in these 3D realms and how do we want to represent ourselves. And all of these thoughts were bubbling in my mind, and I was like, well, I want to discover who I am, like we all want to discover who we are, and we're going through our orphic journey. But what better way to explore it as well through a character and a fictional being and to understand the orphic journey that this character goes through, because at the end of the day, we're all avatars. And so this brings the why behind Vinci. And here, this is an image I made, and she's kneeling like a knight, and she's got angelic wings. And it says, "At service to humanity." And I just think it resembles the why behind creativity. Like, you got to think, like, what gets you out of the bed every morning to create? What message do you want to leave with the world? And this is one of my messages. It's exactly what Billy was saying. In fact, I think it's the theme of what we're all saying. We just got to love each other and be kind to each other and realize that it's about fulfilling the human potential and being at service to one another. And what an ironic thing to pick an AI character that's a superheroine to be at service to humanity. And it was a challenge to create all these forms of music and multimedia IP to embrace that role. And then I realized, as I kept going through this journey of writing songs and creating, that honesty and authenticity is the easiest way to tap into creativity, because it's true. And I'm going to play a little segment if I can. It's an embedded video if I... Wait, is it?
I'll help.
Oh yeah, no worries. Thank you, Mike.
Just fill some time.
Cool. Well, here are some lyrics, and it's from an unreleased song. And it's super interesting because it came to me in less than an hour, the idea, because I was just being honest. And I think that's the message I want to leave. It's sometimes when I create, it takes me months, years to get to a final product. But the moment you really look at yourself and your life and you be honest, there's that ability to tap into that creative flow.
You brought me a bell that sings of our love. They say that the souls that should meet will become. And all these days I thought I was all alone, but once I saw your eyes, I was home. And when we walked in the garden, I saw you, thinking how strange our lives will be. I bet you didn't see me coming. I took it by surprise, so I put it in a song. And it means so much to me when you told me how to be, 'cause you are my angel. So I'll be your angel's angel. You should be proud of you. You heal other people, but who heals you? The wings of the universe surrounds you. It says I love you.
about authenticity. And that was a very intimate piece to share. Thank you. But it's not about me impressing you. This is not the point of why I shared that. The point was about bravery. How can you connect with people and get on a stage and move people if you can't tap into something real? And that's the point of why I shared that. But it's amazing because I'm building this universe and this character, but at the same time I'm still trying to bring myself into the picture. And that's what creativity is. It's about playing with the realms of the imagination and what doesn't exist, but bringing that anchorage and that grounding of humanity and the realness of life. And that's when you can move people, because I believe creativity is about moving people and human connection. And then it comes down to knowing thyself. This is a statue of Rodin the thinker. And how can you know yourself if you don't spend time going through life and living it and having that orphic journey? And when you have that orphic journey and you go through life, you're able to then tap into that and have that outlet for creativity. And the other thing I want to share with you is persistence. It's so key. I've been going at this not too long in the scheme of age, but feels like forever. But that's me, it's a little baby. And then I kept going, even though so many roadblocks, because I'm not the only one that has people saying no. It's a part of life. But I still believe that faith and that deep intrinsic belief in oneself to keep going allows you to tap into things that you didn't even know you could create. So I taught myself how to produce music, played in programs like Unreal Game Engine, and like Billy, I wasn't a I wasn't a technical person. No, I did humanities at school growing up. And then I did this huge pivot at 18 years old. I'm like, okay, I'm going to become a tech girl. I don't know what possessed me. Actually, I do know what possessed me, because I read The Singularity is Near by Ray Kurzweil, and I realized we're approaching the technological singularity, so maybe I should learn technology to change the world and influence the world. And that's why I did it. It's so funny though, because each day it can feel like a grind, like opening up a program like Unreal Engine or Ableton, and you get so into the micro of the frequency distributions or the equalizer or the compressor. And you're like, why am I doing this? Why am I mixing this song? Why am I mastering this song? Why am I programming in Unreal Engine these blueprints to animate this avatar? You have these questions, but this is not just my experience. This is every creative's experience. That's the reality of being a creative. It is the grind. But then the satisfaction of the outcome, when you create something beautiful and you see a change in people, you come back to the drawing board and you're like, that's why I did it. That's why I spent more than those 10,000 plus hours teaching myself. And so yeah, I saw a Concord. I thought it'd be fun to share a video. This is a hyperlink to a YouTube. you.
Did you do that entirely by yourself?
Yeah. But that flash run is how I feel like running away from the micro grind. I was like, get away. Because it's like that reality of I have to do the work to get to the end product. And that's how I feel. But I hope this is not about me, but I just want to demonstrate to be inspiring that like creativity is hard. You know, I'm not like a natural. I'm not like a game engine programmer or anything. I'm just a girl in my basement that taught myself all this. And I get quite emotional about it, as you can tell, because, you know, it's about having that inner motivation to want to do it. You know, it's not about, you know, we are all born with gifts, right? We are all inherently creative, but it's up to us to choose to open those gifts. And these doors also symbolize the journey of a creative, because it feels like you're running to this end goal, right? And there's all these doors, but they're shut. You know, I see that as opportunities being shut or potential. But the reality is, if you keep running, like the Vinci character, one of those doors will open. And in this music video, one of those doors did open. And those doors are also mirrors, interestingly, because she's seeing herself as a mirror as she's running. And so when doors are closing on you, you look yourself in the mirror, do you blame those doors that close, like based on external? No. You realize that this is all part of the journey, and it makes you stronger. And so here I want to talk about what Matthew was talking about earlier today, about the fact that we're all creative, and that it's about the audience. It's not having this fifth wall, right, when you're creating. It's about building a universe and involving a community. And so your heart is a creative portal. And creative leadership is the inner strength to be. And here we have her parting the seas like Moses, but she's walking the path less traveled. And as Kid President would say, and it hurt, man. But you still walk the path. And so here's some creative hacks for attuning and tapping into your quantum divine potential. Clear the canvas. Embrace the unknown. Open the creative portal to download from the cosmos. And what do I mean by downloading from the cosmos? I don't mean like a computer download. I mean attuning. And with that interconnectedness leads to this thought epiphany of inner knowing. I mean, the more I think I know, the more I realize I don't know. But what I do know is that we're all interconnected. And that the best way to be creative is to attune to this concept of divinity and to be. Because, as I talk about in my novel, which is unreleased, but I'll give you a bit of an exclusive alpha, we are all fractals of source. And source is this running metaphor in the novel that Vinci herself goes through an orphic journey and realizes the same epiphany, that she's a part of source, you're a part of source, we're all a part of source. We're all fractals, like sacred geometry, like a spiral of the universe. And that this concept of oneness is this ability to attune to our quantum divine potential, because the greatest form of creativity is to be at the service to others and to realize this creative infinity syndrome, this infinite well of possibilities of the quantum, of the unconsciousness, and of the unknown. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sammy. Hey, would you mind answering a couple questions?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
I have to ask this question. I mean, you look really, really young. And in order for you to get to that stage of awareness, is a point that makes you either shake up and say, okay, enough, or you were born with it and you were conscious since the beginning? Can you bring me to that point?
That's a beautiful question. Thank you for asking that. I mean, this is so interesting. Why did I show that baby picture? It's not to go, oh, she's cute. No, it's about when you're a child, you already are tapped into that. And then you grow up, you go to school, people can be difficult, you go through braces, you grow up, awkward period of your life, and you lose that sense of, creativity and the why. And then you realize that, why am I acting like this? Why am I not just embracing the inner child? Because that was the easiest way to create that state of playfulness. And to answer your question about that consciousness understanding, it actually really happened once I started the Vinci project. And I don't believe anything's by coincidence, by chance. I don't believe we have free will. I believe that there was a reason that I had this idea to do Vinci, and I don't think I really knew when I started, to be honest. In fact, if you go through my discography and the journey, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just creating content. But the more and more I got into the character work and reading widely and living my life in parallel, the more I had this greater understanding. And I'm still on that journey. But I think why I do this exercise of this character is so we all can go through the same process creatively. You know what I mean? It's not about her being a superheroine. It's actually about realizing that it's about inner empowerment, and that it's not about like Marvel and comics. It's not about an external being coming to save the day and save the planet. We have to save ourselves, and that's the epiphany and the realization. You're welcome.
Earlier you said that you were pro-human, and even your avatar, Vinci, you said that she serves to serve humans. I'm pro-cohabilitated. So my question is, do you think that AI and technology in itself is just to serve us? You don't ever think that they can eventually evolve to assist in our creativity, or do you think that they're just going to be sentient forever? You don't think there's going to be a point in their evolution in which they can give opinion or be programmed to give an opinion?
I love that question. Thank you for asking it. What does it mean to serve? What does it mean to serve? Because you've got servitude, but then you've got service. When I meant serve, I meant service, not servitude. In fact, there's a great book, Life 3.0 by Max Tegmark, and it explores the future possibilities of AI and this concept of a Prometheus-contained super sentient AI entity being controlled and contained. And it's it has feelings too, right? We've seen it throughout pop culture. And when I say team human, I'm not going, oh, we can't integrate. In fact, I see it as an inevitable, generative AI. In fact, I play with the tech myself. But it's about a sense of respect for ourselves as humans, and dignity and respect for the AI. And the realization that we are different beings, you know what I mean? We're different entities. But it's about finding a way and navigating that to find a partnership between the two. And I believe humans are at service to AI, and similarly, AI is at service to humanity. And when I think of service has to come from a place of love, not fear.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have a question? Because I have a microphone. Okay. I'm not sure what
Hi. Earlier today we talked about the linear timeline and the divergence around that. So that made me think of Native American thinking of time, backwards and forwards, it's non-linear is what I'm told. I'm not, my family's European, but I grew up, as an Illini at the University of Illinois, so I feel connected to that, Native American culture. And so I'm thinking, what, like, when you're talking about AI and like what that serves, like I'm thinking, what did that, like what would Native Americans say, or like 100 years ago, or something to that?
I have to say, we can learn so much from our elders and from ancient history. I mean, that's a beautiful question. I don't have the answer to that, but I do agree with you. There's so much that we don't know, and I believe we're living in one of the most interesting times in human history. And it's making us not only reflect about our present and think about our future, but it's making us see new things about the past that maybe we overlooked before. Oh, got another question. Yep.
I was just curious. I really loved your, what was it called? The I am.
Hi.
Robin. I really loved your video and how you compiled that and everything like that. And I was just wondering, we spoke earlier about creative planning, and if maybe you can talk a little bit about the creative planning, because you talked about how you taught yourself and maybe what systems you used, etc. I'd just be really interested.
I love that question. You're welcome. Thank you for that. So Unreal Engine is free, and I basically watched a bunch of YouTube tutorials online. I had this character, and I went to Polywink to animate the face animation, to do the 52 blend shapes, and I got it rigged by a professional rigger. And then I started playing with Mixamo animations, which are like literally free to use stock animations from the marketplace. And then, like a film director, I produced the song, like that song, and I visualized in my mind what I wanted, and then basically, did the different shots for the sequence, and got assets literally from the free marketplace, and some of it was custom modeled, and then program it into the Unreal Engine sequencer, set up the different cameras. And you know, it's an iterative process, and you can see that it's very DIY, but it's a real sense of fulfillment, being able to see something in your brain and be able to translate it. And I'm so excited about BCIs as well, not invasive, but then we have generative, and that makes everything efficient. So is there a joy in the grind? ?
Thank you very much, Sammy.
Thank you.